Shabbat Shalom. And welcome back to the sanctuary. I think this is a little loud, just a tad. Let me just see. Down on the loud a little bit. We have some exciting news. This is not only our first time back in the fall, since we've been outside during the summer, and we've had, in case you didn't notice, new carpeting put in our sanctuary, and a new sound system, which we're still learning how to adjust a little bit. So you can let us know afterward if you need to hear it a little louder or it's too loud, and we'll adjust and we'll learn. So it is the first Friday of September. How many of you have gone back to school since you were last here? And so we are also welcoming on the first Friday representatives of our Habonim Children's Choir, because we haven't gone back to school yet here at Adith Emanuel. But when we do, then we'll have more of our choir students join us. And it's the first Friday of the month, so we celebrate the birthdays, anniversaries, and special life events that are happening to people in the month of September. And we're also at the cusp of one of those special events where tomorrow Ella Rubin will be called to the Torah for the first time, so mazel tov to you and your family. And it's Shabbat. So we invite you to follow along with our choir. If you don't already have a siddur, you can take one of these thin blue books in front of you. If there's one not in front of your seat directly, you can look a little ways down the row. And we will begin our opening song on page 128. 128, Hinei Ma Tov, how good and pleasant it is for us to be together. Naim Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad Hinei Ma Tov Uma Naim Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. We turn now in our prayer books to pages 121 and 120 in the brackets as we continue with the lighting and blessing of our Shabbat candles. And it's my pleasure to call to the Bima, Ella and her mom and dad, who will lead us in the lighting and blessing.
As the Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'etzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we turn now to our Kiddush, which you can find in your prayer book on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh bereishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, ki banu b'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
As we turn now to page 603, as we invite those who are here with children or grandchildren or the generation before us to perhaps put your hands on the head or shoulders of those children. And we think of our Jewish community as B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel. So if you would feel comfortable holding hands with the person next to you or putting your hands on their shoulders, as we all offer this blessing to one another in the middle or bottom of page 603. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and may you be gracious, God be gracious to you. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Amen. And we turn now to page 138 in the brackets, welcoming Shabbat with Lecha Dodi.
Shabbat,
Entrance to welcome in Shabbat. And while we're standing, we take a moment to turn to somebody, perhaps not the person next to us, if we already know that person, but in front of us, behind us, across the way. Let's introduce ourselves to one another and greet one another. Shabbat Shalom. these are conversations we can continue at our Oneg Shabbat. We take a moment now while we're still standing to turn to our song cards if you have them. If you don't have them, that's okay. We'll just listen and follow along with our Habonim Children's Choir as we turn to Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Remain standing as we turn to two prayers down on the song sheet, Shema by Josh Nelson.
I am here, I am now, asking when, asking how, only I, only thou, only one. Fill my heart, still my soul, I am part of this whole. I will sing out my song to the one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Turn now to page 268 in the brackets in the Siddur as we continue with the Haftarah.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Veshinantam Levanecha Vedibarta Bam Veshivtecha Bevetecha Uvlechtecha Vaterech Uvshokbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu litotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'hasitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hoseiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Turn now to our prayer we call Micha Mocha, who is like you, God, sometimes referred to our prayer of freedom, also our prayer of miracles. On page 271, we join together in the middle of the page. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. As we turn now to page 273, we rise in body and spirit as we're able.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufiaki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, וקונה החול, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרה שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משורית אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומק נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומשמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue on page 278 as we join together in the middle of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We continue our prayer now silently, whether we are led by the words on the pages of our Siddur through page 285 in the brackets, or other prayers throughout the prayer book, or those meditations and thoughts in our hearts. We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are in need of healing, and so we turn in our prayer books to page 371 in the middle of the page. For those of you who are joining us through the blessing of technology, I invite you at this time to add in the chat the names of those whom you're thinking of at this time who are in need of healing, whether it's a healing of the body or healing of the mind or spirit. And we add the names of the following people in our extended Addith Emmanuel family as we send our blessings of healing to them. Jill Schlesinger, Iris Nadell, Mary Lou Salvador, Corinne Fowler, Natalie Polios, Orly Boudet, Harry Kushner, Lisa Ager Brown, Barbara Savage, Chris Cheney, Eileen Lesser, Efrat Yisraela Bat Adina Vishalev, Alice Oppenheimer, Stuart Ettinger, Philip Lutz, Jerry Dreskin, Yochanan Ben Yehudit, Richard Foley, Merrill Green, Joe Wright, Libby Barsky, Carol Levine, Judy Winogren, Bob Epifano, Malcolm Fletcher, Ellen Bertuglia, Mindy Fisher, Kayla Chana Bat Adan Leib Umasa Leah, Marlene Gratchner, Harry Greenberg, Nick Baud, Deb Nielsen, Moshe Ben Elizabeth Theodore, Jennifer Ness, Harriet Eisner, Carla Teisch, Chaim Ben David, Hugh Morton, Art Bond, Roberta Levine, Jordan Steinberg, Jeff Schaefer, Michael Infanti, Gary Garnick, Rick Ulrich, Ileana Cohn, and others whose names we might add at this time. If you have a name to add, I would invite you, if you're here in person, to stand as you're able and say those names aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim.
Misheberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Our hearts and prayers turn to the east as we turn in our Siddur to page 377, and we think of our brothers and sisters and siblings in Israel. We think of those in Gaza and the whole region, and how this week in particular was a very difficult one. We'll be talking a little bit more about that tomorrow morning at Simply Shabbat. We send our prayers now to those in Israel as we join together Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And at this time, I'd like to welcome to the Bima all those who are celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or a special life event during this month of September. And if you weren't here for the one in August, come on up too. And if you're joining us through the blessing of technology, you might choose to rise in your place at home. We rise as we're able. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, God of our ancestors, God of our days and our years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather today in special thankfulness to share in the happiness of those celebrating their birthdays, anniversaries, special life events during this month of September. God be with them as the joy of their lives. May they be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May they have the joy of coming together for many more years, united by mutual reverence and love. May these milestone events remind us that as we may count the days of our lives, a person of wisdom makes sure that every day counts. And so, God, we join together in our prayer of gratitude, the Shehechianu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Siman Tov. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. And you may close your books. And if you are one of our younger members of the congregation, and I will let you define your youngerness by yourself. You don't have to be B'nai Mitzvah age or younger. I tell the story of how I was with a student. The invitation is to come on up to the Bima and sit on the steps as I tell my story. I tell a different story how I had a student. When she became a bat mitzvah, she was sad that she had reached an age where she thought she could no longer sit on the stairs for the story. And so ever since then, you don't have to be B'nai Mitzvah age or younger. You can be somebody who chooses to sit on the steps of the Bima as I tell the story. And I have had adults in their, I don't know what decade it was, sit on the Bima as well. So you're welcome to come have a, as I say, front row seat as I share with you a story that sparked my interest because this week's Torah portion is Shoftim. Shoftim is that Torah portion in which we talk about setting up judges and a fair system. And there's that very famous line, Tzedek, Tzedek Tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue. And as I found this story, I'm wondering, sometimes it's so easy to decipher between what's good and bad and right and wrong. And so my challenge to you as I tell you this story is to think about the main character of this story. And is this person good or bad, righteous, not righteous, and was justice achieved in this story? It's called The Holy Thief. So it just so happens in the eastern part of Europe, there were many Jewish towns in which people lived and they were not so wealthy. And there in one town, in one village, there lived a thief. I mean, that's how he made his living. He went and he stole things. He sometimes stole little things, like maybe it was just a purse of coins that was left on a counter accidentally, but the person wasn't paying attention. Or maybe somebody took an afternoon nap and he was able to add a cloak or a pair of boots to his collection. Or sometimes it was things that were much bigger, much more valuable, like a Kiddush cup. Or would you believe it, even a horse. And of course, every Shabbat, he stole 2 chalot and a flask of wine so that he and his family could celebrate Shabbat. Quite honestly, the people of his community reviled him. And yet, with this Jewish community of love, he was accepted as a member of the community. And so it was. That's how he earned his living. And quite honestly, it wasn't too different from other people in the village. Take the butcher, for example. His scales were accurate, give or take a pound. So maybe he wasn't too different than some of the other people who made their living as they did in this village. Now, this thief also had very strict rules. Number 1, he would never steal from a very poor person. He would never take somebody's last coin. He would never steal anything if that person's life depended on it or their livelihood. And he only took what he or his family needed to support themselves. And thus he lived his ethical thievery life. And as it would happen, he came to the end of his life, and it was time for judgment. Where do you think he went? Do you think he went to heaven? Do you think he went to hell? Where do you think? Raise your hand if you think he went up to heaven for judgment. Some. Raise your hand if you think he went to hell for his thievery. We got a few hands. Raise your hand if you're not sure yet and you want to hear the rest of the story. All right. Okay. So he goes first to heaven, and their judgment with a capital J is before him. And, it's not that his stealing was really evil or malicious, but the people in heaven, they didn't want their stuff being taken from them, and so they sent him down to hell. Well, when he got to hell, it was not like he was just anybody. He was like a celebrity. He was well known for his deeds, and it would be none other than the Prince of Darkness, the master of hell, that would greet him. Got it. That would greet him in that place, in that fiery place. And so the master of hell was very busy. And so the thief waited in the outer room until he was ready. And so he finished some business. The thief came in, and the Prince of Darkness, the master of hell, said, "Come on in. We've heard about you. You're a real celebrity, and we've all heard about your deeds. You're so welcome here." And then they chit-chatted for a while, and And the master of hell said, there's a pride and joy that I've been working on for so long, I just have to share it with you. He shared with him, he had this big book, a big portfolio on his desk, his ornate desk. And he said, this is my pride and joy. I have been working on this book for generations and generations and generations. This is the book that has in it every single sin, every single transgression that every Jew has done for generations and generations, and I have just finished it, and I'm ready to take it to the heavenly court, and that's it. I'm going to do away with the Jewish people. It will surely get rid of them, and then without the Jews on earth, I can rule all the world. Wow, that was something for the thief to hear about. And then, just then, one of the Prince of Darkness's messengers came in, and some matter came up, and the Prince of Darkness turned to that messenger, and at that moment, the thief said, this must be the moment that I was created for. And wouldn't you know it, in his polished, thievery way, right beneath the elbow of the Prince of Darkness, he stealthily took the book, the portfolio. He opened the window and he tossed it out. And it descended down into the fiery pits of hell. Feeling that warmth come into the room, the master of darkness turned around to see his book, his life's work, or his death's work, falling into the fires. Oh, no, what have you done? Do you know who you've robbed? How dare you? I've been working on this for generations and generations. And just at that moment, light filled the room as two messengers from heaven came down into the main office of the master of hell, and they said, cease and desist. And they scooped up the thief, and they brought him up to heaven. For they saw what the thief had done had saved not only the Jewish people, but all of humanity on earth. And you know what? The thief liked it in heaven, and he stayed there for eternity. But just for good measure, every now and then, he would sneak down to hell and steal a page or two of the new portfolio that the Master of Heaven was working on. The end. We turn now in our Siddur to page 586 at the bottom of the page. As we're able, we rise for Aleinu.
Let us adore.
Let us adore
The ever-living God.
the ever-living God
And render praise.
and render praise
Unto God.
unto
Who
God
spread out the
who spread out
heavens and established the
the
earth,
earth
and whose glory
and whose glory
is revealed in the heavens
in the
above,
heavens above,
and whose
and
greatness
whose greatness
is
is
manifest throughout the world. Adonai is our God, there is fullness. Anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, livnei melech malkei hamlakim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'bnei
Our thoughts turn now to those who are no longer with us, and so we turn in our Siddur to pages 598 and 599 as we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died during this past week and these past 30 days. We mention by name Edward Fine, father of Wesley, grandfather of Liam, Dylan, and Caleb. Jack Donahue, uncle of Laura and Shayna Goldberg. Minerva Sanger, mother of Robin Baumgarten. Muriel Hine, aunt of Bruce Tresky. Diana Provenza, friend of David Aguilar. And we also think of those who died at the season in years past, whose yahrzeits we observe on the Shabbat. James Comer, Irene Eisenfeld, Leon Heller, Irv Horwitz, Sarah Campbell, Edith Orkin, Jenny Sternberg, Barbara Stevens, Clara Weiss. And if there are others whose names we would like to add now, if you're joining us through the blessing of technology, feel free to add those names in the chat at this time. If you're here in person in the sanctuary and are able, I invite you to rise and say those names aloud as my hand passes through the congregation. For those of you who are in the period of Shiva or Shloshim, these 7 and 30 days after the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise at this time. Or if you're in the first period of mourning, the first year of mourning, I invite you to rise at this time. For those who are observing a yahrzeit on the Shabbat, I invite you to rise at this time. Zichronam livracha. We think of them and those who have noticed no one to say Kaddish for them. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing as we rise now as one congregation in comfort and support, continuing with the words of mourners Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba, v'alma divra kirute v'amlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach leolam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'riachu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, ta'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to invite to the Bima our synagogue president, Doug Richter, to share with us a few hodaot, some announcements.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you thank you to the greeters who met everyone at the door today. Thank you to Rabbi and Cantor Sandy and Lucas and the youth choir for joining in tonight's service. Mazel tov to Ella and your family on your bar mitzvah. And a special thank you also to Perry for all the work that he has done to make this synagogue and this sanctuary, the remodel, happen in time for tonight's service. So, good job-us. As usual, tomorrow is Saturday, so we've got Torah Talk and Bagels at 8:45 in the morning, followed by a Simply Shabbat service at 10, and then the Mincha Bat Mitzvah at 5 p.m. On Sunday, is that booked yet? Or, I mean... If people are interested, they can come. All right, so there's the Eastern State Penitentiary Tour. If there's any last-minute people that want to go, talk to Rabbi, make it happen. Trying to think if there's anything else. We're good. What's that? Secret Sister sign up online. There's a lot of things happening here. I'm always encouraging everyone, check your weekly emails that comes every Wednesday. Lots of events happening. A lot of them require you to sign up for them, and all the details are there. One special thing I want to mention is we're starting to collect the reusable shopping bags. You can bring them in now. There's a bin out in the lobby for those, or you can wait for the high holidays when you bring in non-perishable items for the food drive. You can put them in a recyclable bag. And that's all I've got. Shabbat Shalom.
For our closing song, we turn to Mitzvah, Goreret Mitzvah. If you want to follow along, it's on page 646 in the Siddur, 646 at the bottom of the page. Please join me in the Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon, and Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
question is, hands on knees.
Josie, that actually hurt me. Yeah, I'm not
What was the name of the thief in the story?
Yeah, I don't think David.
I need a raised hand and a clear answer when called upon. Questions will not get you in.
What is it? None of us know. We need it. Joseph.
Think about it. What was the name that Rabbi said of the thief?
Please.
Yes. You didn't give an actual name. It was thief. That's what it was. You didn't actually say that. You gave names. I will find who don't know.
Okay, we have lifters and tires.
Hi.
I'm Sandy. It's nice to meet you.
That's what I
I'm
was
Steve
thinking.
Beth.
And Beth?
Yes, that I met you. I used to from a choir, a community choir.
Okay. Where were you?
Before, but I
Okay.
remember.
Just wait, just wait.
I thought I'm thinking you were the different. You were in the community. Or you were conducting. Oh, okay. I was thinking you were conducting. I'm trying to place. Okay. Well, welcome.
Always took me with
Are you at Colomino?
We're in San Diego.
Oh, okay. You've relocated.
Yeah,
The
there,
coop.
yeah.
We flew the coop.
Yes.